I hope it's opened everybody's eyes, especially the bus drivers.
A woman's message days after her grandson was dragged by a central Kentucky school bus.
Tragedy in a western Kentucky town. Police want to know how a toddler ended up on some railroad tracks before being hit and killed by a train.
There's a battle brewing in Frankfurt over a bill that some say would bully transgendered students.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. He is out of the hospital, but family members say he still has a long road to recovery ahead. Tonight, we have an update on a 6-year-old boy investigators say was dragged by a Clark County school bus.
That happened last week on Clintonville Road near US 60. Family members say the boy spent 3 days in the hospital. Tonight, our Jordan Valines talked to the boy's grandmother. It's our top story at 11.
It's been said that most accidents happen close to home, and last week,
He imagined the worst.
an accident down the road from Janet Farthing's house hit close to home.
This happened to my grandson.
When she learned her 6-year-old grandson Thomas was involved.
His coat got in the door, and the bus dragged him so many feet. He broke his finger, his ribs, and his pelvis. He fractured his hip, so he's got a long recovery.
Thomas's grandmother says that he has been getting dropped off at the daycare near where the accident happened since the beginning of this school year. But she says because of his injuries, he now won't be able to return to school for several weeks. Thomas's relatives say his cerebral palsy will make his recovery more difficult.
Now he's going to have to start back over, learning to try to walk. It's going to take him, probably a good 6 months or longer. I just hope that he can walk again.
Farthing also hopes that her grandson's close call,
I hope it's opened everybody's eyes,
will serve as a wake-up call to others.
especially the bus drivers.
And while she's hopeful for the future, she's also grateful for the most important thing of all.
I'm thankful that at least he's living.
In Winchester,
I thank God for that.
Jordan Valines, WKYT.
The accident report states that bus driver, Tammy Howard, was distracted at the time of the accident and unaware that Thomas was being dragged underneath the school bus. The school district is investigating.
A tragic story out of western Kentucky tonight. Police say a train hit and killed a 2-year-old boy. It happened this morning in Hopkinsville. Investigators think Trayton Joyner wandered away from home and walked to some nearby railroad tracks. Police say the train conductor saw the boy on the tracks and honked the train's horn, but wasn't able to stop in time.
We got our EMTs here, obviously, as soon as we possibly could. They administered first aid to the child as soon as they could, and also got him in an ambulance and taken to a local hospital.
Police say doctors were not able to save the child's life. Initially, police say they didn't even know who he was, so they had to go door to door until they found his family. Neighbors say family members told them the boy was with his grandmother, but they say she fell asleep and didn't hear the boy leave home. Police think the little boy may have followed a dog onto the tracks before the accident.
Tonight, we're tracking the investigation into Lexington's first murder of the year. Lexington police say 20-year-old Matthew Donahue stabbed his boyfriend, 40-year-old Todd Schumacher, at a home on Lamont Drive last night. Police later charged Donahue with murder. People who live nearby say the neighborhood is normally quiet.
There's never been any trouble on this street or in this neighborhood. Everybody used to know everybody and get along.
Now, according to court records, a few months ago, police charged Donahue with a violation similar to animal cruelty. Police say he put his roommate's dog in a hot oven in a fit of rage. Friends say it's the same dog Schumacher reported missing last week. Lexington police say they're still trying to figure out what led up to the stabbing.
We are learning more about a Magoffin County man police say they shot and killed after he threatened them. Yesterday, state police say they were helping the Magoffin County Sheriff's Office serve a warrant on 66-year-old Carter Castle. But police say Carter wouldn't cooperate and they used a taser on him. They say Carter then grabbed a gun and pointed it at officers. State police say a trooper then shot him. Family members say Castle was a Vietnam War veteran and suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder.
I wish that people with PTSD, I wish that there could be some type of protocol in place where somebody could actually that has dealt with things like that could actually get involved and maybe be able to diffuse the situation.
Family members say Castle was also an advocate for the preservation of eastern Kentucky mountains. State police say the trooper involved in the shooting is on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation.
Tonight, Lexington police say they have made more arrests for credit card forgery. Police arrested John Adams and Clifford Alford in the last week. Police have arrested 10 people for charges related to forged credit cards. Police say that many of those arrested are from the Atlanta area. They think that multiple groups of people traveled from there to Lexington to forge credit cards.
All right, enjoy the mild weather while you can. It looks like some changes are heading our way later this week. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell has an early check of your forecast. Hi, Jim.
It looks really good out there, Amber. Again, just like today, temperatures soared into the mid-50s in many cases, and even a few folks getting in on the upper 50s. Right now, we have a little bit of a chill in the air. It's 36 degrees here in Lexington, and you can see spots around us like Frankfort out toward Mount Sterling coming in at and below freezing. So the chill a little stronger in those communities and still holding on to the mid-40s up in the ridgetop there in Jackson. 45 degrees right now, so we're kind of all over the place with some of those temperatures. Defender's been quiet throughout the day today. We're not tracking any showers or any snow for that matter. If anything would have, of course, been falling today, we would have been running into some light rain, it looks like. A little wave of energy will be making a run at us and spill over into Kentucky over the next couple of days, and that will enhance at least our chances for a few showers. Now, as we plan your Tuesday, it's not tomorrow that we get into that. We run you through the early morning hours around 32. It's 7 o'clock. How about 50 by 2 o'clock, getting up to around 53 by 5 before we slowly cool things off again. But once we cross over into Wednesday, we don't get quite that same recovery. We'll track that coming up for you in just a few minutes.
Jim, thank you. It is already getting some attention around the country. A Kentucky lawmaker has filed a bill that would not allow transgender students to use school restrooms or locker rooms of the gender they identify with.
This comes after some Kentucky schools made accommodations for transgender students. New at 11 tonight, Sean Moody has reaction to that bill.
The senator who introduced this bill calls it the Kentucky Student Privacy Act. Supporters say it respects the rights of transgendered students while protecting the privacy of others. Opponents, though, say it would stigmatize transgendered students. Senate Bill 76 is sponsored by Senator C. Embry Jr. It comes after Atherton High School in Louisville enacted a policy to allow transgender students to use the bathroom of the gender they identify with. Family Foundation of Kentucky Executive Director Kent Ostrander supports the bill. He says allowing students of one biological sex to go into the bathroom of the other creates a problem.
Parents of, say, a 14 or 15-year-old young girl don't want a 17 or 18-year-old biological boy in the bathroom with them. There's a question of privacy. There's the possibility, a suggestion of a third bathroom or even a unisex bathroom.
But Fairness Campaign Director Chris Hartman says that would create more trouble.
It further victimizes and marginalizes some of our most vulnerable students. It could ultimately end up increasing suicide rates for transgender youth. If we say that you are so different that we really cannot find a way to accommodate you that integrates you into the rest of the student population, we're saying that you're so different that you have to be isolated.
He says there's another solution.
Students who don't feel comfortable using the same restrooms as transgender folks can feel free to request another accommodation. All we're saying is that the default should not be that these students who are perceived to be different need to be treated differently.
Now, the bill calls the situation an emergency. If it's passed, it'll take effect immediately. In Frankfort, Sean Moody, WKYT.
That bill would also allow any student who encountered a student of the opposite biological sex in a school restroom to sue the school if the staff did not enforce the rule.
They are looking ahead. If the UK basketball team makes the Final Four this spring, Lexington firefighters say they'll be ready for any fan celebrations. Firefighters say they're making plans now just in case. In previous years, some fans have set fires as part of the celebrations, but firefighters want to prevent that this year. They've already ordered flyers and door hangers that include warnings for people living near the UK campus.
You know, not bringing glass to the celebrations, not igniting furniture or clothing. The danger of fireworks, you know, if it goes up, it must come down.
A UK spokesperson tells us the university will have formal meetings with the fire department later this basketball season, depending on how far the team advances in the NCAA tournament.
Family members say they're now preparing to say goodbye to a Northern Kentucky professor who disappeared last summer.
Investigators now say human remains found in Fleming County last October are those of Randall Russ. Police say Russ disappeared from his Grant County home in August. He was a professor at the University of Cincinnati. Family members say with the positive identification, they're now planning a celebration of life service for Russ.
It's kind of like a bittersweet moment is the best way to describe it. I thought I would be a lot happier that we got the dental records, but it's more now everything's real.
Police have charged two men, Charles Black and Kevin Howard, with murder in this case.
We are learning more about a wild police chase in Laurel County over the weekend. Police say that 18-year-old Donald Fox stole a constable's cruiser before leading police on a chase up and down US 25. Police say Fox tried to run over a police officer. He was finally tased when police say he jumped out of the cruiser and tried to run off. Police say Fox was a fugitive from Virginia. They say he's now at UK hospital being treated for a collapsed lung. They say two sheriff's deputies are guarding him.
A growing problem in Estill County. Firefighters say thieves are taking advantage of fire victims. They say thieves will often go to homes damaged by fire and steal electric wires, copper, or anything else that can be salvaged. Now they're asking neighbors to be on the lookout after a home burns and firefighters leave.
Have people, as nutty as they are, to come and take everything what's left. They don't care about what they have to replace or anything. And, sir, there's a lot of things you can't replace.
Investigators think thieves are stealing from fire victims in order to get money to buy drugs.
Tonight, the NFL is investigating allegations that the New England Patriots used illegally underinflated footballs in last night's AFC Championship game. The Patriots easily beat the Indianapolis Colts. The league says underinflated balls can be easier to catch and hold, especially in bad weather. Rain fell during much of last night's game, but Patriots quarterback Tom Brady isn't worried about the allegations.
I think I heard it all at this point. So, oh, God. That's the last of my worries. I don't even respond to stuff like this.
Patriots coach Bill Belichick said the team will comply with the NFL investigation. No word on how long it will take. The Patriots play the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl on February 1st.
People all around the Bluegrass spent the day honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This morning, hundreds of people of all ages took part in the Freedom March on the streets in downtown Lexington. They said it's important to remember the civil rights leader and keep his dream alive for generations to come. After the march, a commemorative program was held at Heritage Hall. A ceremony at First Baptist Church in Danville also honored Dr. King today. More than 150 people sang, marched, and celebrated his life. The church has held this event in partnership with the Boyle County branch of the NAACP for more than 30 years.